Ken Stornes, unleashing the inner Viking, filling the void, conquering death diving, setting world records, and cultivating mental health. In this captivating episode of the Straight Talk Mind and Muscle podcast, I had the privilege of interviewing Ken Stornes, a remarkable individual who has conquered both the battlefield and the world of extreme sports. Ken, a former member of the renowned Norwegian Telemark Battalion and now a dedicated healthcare worker, shares his inspiring journey of transitioning from military life to civilian life, finding solace in adrenaline-pumping activities and overcoming adversity. One of the highlights of our conversation was Ken's passion for death diving, a thrilling sport, understatement, that involves diving belly flop style from great heights into water and then stapling at the last millisecond. Ken's eyes sparkled as he recounted his exhilarating experiences, pushing the boundaries of what seemed impossible and possible. He spoke of the rush of adrenaline, the intense focus required, and the sheer joy of conquering fear. With each dive, Ken's confidence grew, and he found himself setting new world records, a testament to his unwavering determination. But Ken's story goes beyond the realm of extreme sports. He also shared his personal journey of recovery from a serious car crash, which left him physically and mentally shattered. Through sheer resilience and an unyielding spirit, Ken fought his way back to health, defying the odds, and proving that the human body and mind are capable of extraordinary things. Throughout our conversation, Ken emphasized the importance of sleep for training and recovery. He recognized that rest is not a sign of weakness, but a crucial component of achieving peak performance. By prioritizing quality sleep, Ken has been able to optimize his physical and mental well-being, allowing him to continue pushing his limits. Beyond his physical pursuits, Ken spoke passionately about his deep connection with nature. He finds solace in the great outdoors, using it as a source of inspiration and healing. Ken's love for the environment led him to acquire a farmland where he plans to create a community centered around adventure, personal growth, and mental health. Through his social media presence and future endeavors, Ken aims to inspire others to embrace their own journeys of self-discovery and find strength in the face of adversity. In closing, Ken Stornes is a true testament to the power of the human spirit. So let Ken's journey be an inspiration to us all as we strive to create a life filled with self-confidence, resilience, and a deep connection with ourselves and the world around us. You can find Ken on Insta at Ken Stornes. Check out the link below. Thanks for watching. I'm Damien Porter, former New Zealand Special Forces operator, subject matter expert from hownotodie.com.au. And you're listening to my Straight Talk Mind and Muscle podcast, sponsored by these guys, mystate.com, the ultimate daily formula for optimum hormone health, stress management, energy, and performance. 100% natural and clinically proven ingredients, it provides everything you need to raise your game in a convenient, gut-friendly capsule. Links for my former shows are in the show notes below. Thanks for watching. And we're live. Welcome to the Straight Talk Mind and Muscle podcast. And very privileged to have my guest today, Ken Stornes, all the way from Norway. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, man. Thanks for having me on. Really awesome.
Oh, look, I'm stunned. I didn't realize the time difference until we connected, 24 hours ago. And thank you for staying up late. Normally it's me getting up early or me staying up late for those international guests. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. It's actually midnight here now, and I'm at work, so but it works fine. So it's no problem. I might have to run off, but it'll be okay.
That brings us to the first question. I mean, we see your amazing Insta, and before this live part of the show, people have heard that recording of the intro and what you do and so on. But you've done some amazing jumps, some amazing videos, some amazing content out there. What is it that you're doing right now?
For work, you mean?
Yeah, work and artistry, yes.
Yeah. So for work, I work in healthcare. I used to work in the army, like you. So I have had two jobs. It was the army, and now I work in healthcare with people who have different types of diagnosis and can't help themselves.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of I'm not sure what the word is, but I often start and end my day with a little wrestling. So yeah,
I think I know what you're saying. Um,
yeah.
that's interesting coming from the military. You said you're in the army, and on your bio you got infantry combat veterans. So you joined the army, and were you was that going to be your career long term? And now you've gone into a different one. So, what was the idea there when you joined the army?
So Norway have this draft thing where you have to do this 1 year where you just call in and you have to do it. But
Yep.
back then, when in my younger days, I didn't really want to. I was busy training, and I did a lot of martial arts and used to compete a lot in martial arts. So that was my life back then, and I didn't
Yeah.
really want to do the army. But I went and did that first year, and a friend of mine wanted to try the elite forces and asked if I wanted to join, and I said yes. And I made the cut, and he did not. So
Wow.
I got in, and after that, everything changed. It like I fell in love with it, and I did it for years. So it
So
became a huge part of my life.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around Norway. Did you join the special forces there? Your elite unit?
Yeah, it's not special forces, but it's called the Telemark Battalion. It's
Oh, yes.
you might have heard of them. I don't know.
There is a video floating around of I think it's Norwegian Special Forces. A rock climber tried to do their selection tests.
That might be Magnus, probably. Magnus Bitbø, Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
tough. I mean, you guys operate in some amazing temperatures, terrain. You know, with New Zealand SAS and British and so on, we've got the different troops. And I was in the counter-terrorist team, so mine was the black role, mine was the hostage rescue, that sort of thing. But you guys just straight off into some rugged terrain. Um, what was it like? You went through. What was your selection process like?
Um, I'm not sure if it's any different from other selection projects. I mean, here in Norway, it's pretty cold. So when I got in, it was January and it was 25 below Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit and stuff, but
Oh, we deal
I
in
think it's
Celsius.
like,
It's good.
yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, so it's pretty cold. That was probably the biggest factor to begin with, and for me at least. But that is also one thing I fell in love with, the cold.
Yeah,
So it's all part of the journey.
you sort of have to, and
Yeah.
it's been great watching some of your stuff with the cold therapy, if that's what you really call it, cold exposure. Um, and you served. How long did you serve in the military? And can you talk about the places you went to?
Yeah, sure. It's for like almost 5 years total, and I only did one intops or deployment, and that was Afghanistan 2011.
Yep.
And yeah, that was interesting times. Sure
Yeah.
was.
2011 was tough. I think that was around the time the Kabul hotel got taken, and the boys went in. New Zealand SAS went in with the Afghans. I think that was around the same time. There's a couple of historic photos around there as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was interesting times.
So, what I mean, I tried to look at a bit of background. I normally do a lot of research, but we had a fastball to get this show together. Um, I was unaware that you'd made it through into that unit and doing those sort of things. I thought for once I was going off the combat veterans side and going into a different side because I've seen so much of your current stuff. Um, what was it like, and what is it like transitioning from the identity of a an elite soldier into where you are now into the civilian space? Can I ask what that's like, and is it difficult trying to find your purpose and identity, or have you got an idea about that now, Ken?
Well, now I don't really think about it anymore because I feel I have found my path in this life.
Yes.
At least, a point of I know where I'm going. I think. But years ago, the reason I stopped the military, I was injured after a deployment, not in deployment, but after. When I came back to Norway, I was in a car crash.
Oh,
and
wow.
I broke my back in that car crash. And after that, I spent a year of rehab and stuff, and I chose a new path to go. So I was kind of tired at that moment, and I was unmotivated, I think. Uh, Looking back at it now, I wish I didn't stop, but it opened up for a lot of new things. I mean, I followed this path of extreme sports and cliff diving and gymnastics, and I did a lot of training and stuff, and that just shaped my life to where I am now. So
That's very
yeah.
honest what you said there, Ken. You wish you hadn't left, or wish you could go back. So those sort of idea, and not many of the people I've interviewed have actually said that in that direct terms. And I love the Viking, the Norwegian straight talk. Ironic considering the show we're on, is so true. Because we do, I think, at heart, wish we we're there. I interviewed Dallas Alexander last week. The longest, he's JTF2, he's Canadian Special Forces for the listeners, longest record sniper shot. But again, with him, it was a real surprise to be out of the unit. He got kicked out of the unit for not wearing a mask during COVID. Just amazing interview to listen to, an amazing story. But again, he had a bit of a path. But both you and him have similarities where it wasn't what you chose. You didn't choose to go into retirement after 20 years. You mentioned the car crash and then you were tired. Was it the pain of being hurt and things that was making you tired? What was happening there?
It was probably a little bit of being young and just not realizing how lucky you were to have the opportunity to work that kind of lifestyle. Not
Yeah,
to be able to, I probably took it a bit for granted, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do something else. But as I said, looking back at it now, it was an amazing job. I loved it, but I just wish I had enjoyed it a little more while it was happening. You know, so. But that time is past, and I right now I am really glad I have found my own little path. Probably the reason I got into doing stuff that were dangerous, like the highest death dive and stuff like that, is probably because of this void I had to fill, right?
yes.
Because of the job. So civilian life is not the most exciting. So it is what you make it, right? Yeah.
It truly is. I was lucky enough to interview a Royal Marine, 13 years combat veteran, just the other day, and he has a book called Rewild Your Mind, and the outdoors helped him. The quote he gave me that was so interesting, given what you just said, was it helped him turn the dials on the things he needed for his brain. He talked about an athlete that retires, they still got to turn the dials, but they can't do the sport. You can't put body armor on and go do the things. You can't turn the dials to get that because civilian life's not as exciting, but you're filling the void with things. And you said, you know, so much that you found your path. It's really, really such a big thing to find in a healthy way, rather
Yeah.
than turning those dials with the unhealthy behaviors. What are you filling the void with? You talked about, death diving and gymnastics and cliff diving and so on. So what is your path now? Let's lay that out.
So what it has been is like I've just tried to max out everything I can do physically within the sports I find cool and interesting. So I
Yeah.
just becoming better every day is basically what I've been trying to do. And um, I've tried a lot of things, but lately, like it's been the cliff diving that has had my attention, and it also has gotten attention from a lot of other people, which I did
Yeah.
not expect at all. But that's cool, that's fun, and it gives you a little more motivation to maybe do more of it. So
It,
yeah,
it, it does. I mean, your stuff looks unreal. And then you look closer, you go, hang on a second, that actually happened. And it's mind blowing. Let's just lay it out for listeners. What's the death diving? What is this?
So the death diving is it's a type of dive where you lay yourself in a horizontal position, like if you were doing a parachute jump, just go in that position and just try to hold it for as long as you can. And right before you hit the surface of the water, you tuck in
Right.
with your head, like you try to put your hands and your feet together, and but as late as possible, so it looks like a belly flop. But
Yeah.
that is the whole thing, and then you can add like tricks to it. But I've been sticking to the classical. Yeah.
It looks great. Norse, I think it's Norse Fitness, one of the big ones on Instagram, shared
Yeah,
your.
yeah, I know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know them. They're awesome. They're awesome.
Yeah, they're nice guys. They shared your thing, your latest death dive with the Viking axes, and it just
Yeah.
just went off. You must have had so much exposure there. Your background to do this, I mean, yep, we've gone elite military. We understand, you and I literally understand that mindset, but the physical stuff to get there. Were you a gymnast? I mean, I know you did the taekwondo. Were you a gymnast beforehand, or was it just taekwondo? What's allowing you these skills?
So I started out with the martial arts, and then I did something called tricking. It's like a sort of parkour. That is parkour. When you say parkour, people have heard that before, but tricking is another branch, you could say.
Yeah.
It's where more martial arts and gymnastics together. And I did that from 2005, and I still do it. So that's probably where those athletic movements come from, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Oh,
Chris
okay.
McDougall wrote a book. Obviously wrote Born to Run with the barefoot running, but he went on to talk about the island of Crete and then the origins of human movement and that parkour. He talked about these people doing inhuman things, and that seems to be what that's allowed you to do. Because just you look at any one of your videos and just looks, wow, that's just so amazing, so far that what a normal human could do. But for you, I'm suggesting it's probably just being in that flow state to achieve that.
Yeah, and it may look incredible to the eyes who've never tried this stuff before. If all you do is if you only do is normal type training and you don't do any movement training, I can understand that it looks really incredible. But this is things most people, if you have a healthy body, can do. It just you just have to do it.
Oh,
So to start move around, start stretching and doing yogas and doing rolling around, parkour, running, everything. Just move by your body in different ways and you'll get there. It's we're all made for it, I think.
I love that, and I would suggest it's not preaching from an ivory tower because I've seen your your videos, as I said, the original YouTube ones, and you were a lot smaller than you are now, very different build, and then looking at very strong now. You've gone through uh, the the military training you have done, and probably learn new things. So it's not like you were born with it or you're always a gymnast, where you often see these people, they've done it all their life. Um, what does your training look like for someone that's going, wow, really? They look at you and go, I want to be like Ken, I want to be the Viking. Let's be honest. So what does your training look like? Or what would you, and then we might go to how to suggest to get into that.
Um, so yeah, I started out with the movement, the martial arts, and all that when I was small and skinny, and I it's definitely easier to go that route to start there
Yeah.
and then pack on muscle and pack on strength and do that afterwards when you're already limber and you can move and stretch and all that. But um, the way I train now is my basic is just strength training. I do that as often as I can.
Yeah.
And if I do nothing, and then I do strength training. That is like my baseline. I have to do it. And on top of that, I do jujitsu and grappling as often as I can. And I go to the gymnastics hall with the old tricker friends, and we just have fun for a couple of hours. There's no training regiment there. We just go in there and do whatever you want, and the result of that is just your body can move. It's so yeah.
That's awesome. Reminds me a little bit of the guy out there, Juju Mufu or Juji Mufu.
God,
From the
yeah. I know him. It's a good,
yeah,
awesome guy.
yeah. He's just having fun like you are, which is great. Rather than like the classical strongman who's in that one mentality or that one road, and just what you're saying, going out having fun. The same thing with jiu-jitsu. The rolling there, it's so different than back in the old days of doing the traditional judo or wrestling and things. You're really turning the dials with those different modalities you're using for,
Yeah.
for
Juji,
someone.
I'm sorry.
No,
Sorry.
you go.
We were talking about Juji Mufu, or John Call is his name. He calls it a polyathlete. That's what he calls it. And
Oh.
it's a funny thing you had to mention him because I've been watching that guy since 2005, long before anybody knew who he was and all that stuff. I mean, he had a site called Tricks Tutorials. That was before YouTube.
Right.
And that was like this forum for trickers all around the world who can gather there. And
Yep.
we shared videos of our training and stuff. And that is like 20 years ago. So
Wow.
almost. So he was probably, he's one of the OG in the tricking community. Definitely.
That makes sense, and I'll put a link there in the show notes to that, just to get some more context into the tricking that you spoke of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So strength training, just when I hear a show, and I don't listen to many now, I'm lucky enough to be able to actually be part of a show and interview an awesome guest. Um, but when I hear a show, I'm thinking, okay, maybe some details. You said you strength train as much as you can. What does that look like when you strength train? Because you are very strong and you're very functional. So, what does that look like?
So I started out with like everybody does with the bodybuilding and the bro splits and all that. And right now I try to focus more on base, on compound movements
Hmm.
like squats, deadlifts, bench, shoulder press, and stuff like that. And I still have this push pull legs bodybuilding type thing where I just add compound movements on top of that for
Yeah.
strength. So it's a little bit of mixture, and I definitely probably should get a powerlifting coach or something. But right now I'm just training out of my own head, you could say, just
Yeah.
making my own program.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And how about recovery? I spoke with Rebecca Rouse on this a while back. She's Texas weightlifting champion, and has a lot of action on recovery. Pat Mack, an Amara Delta Force guy. I feel like I should have worn his shirt today for you, because one of the things he says, I want to uh, let me get this right. I want to be able to kick my own ass tomorrow. So
yeah.
so if I climb myself, I'd be able to kick my own ass the next day by training. They all focus on recovery now. So what's your recovery sort of aspect? Maybe focusing and maybe touching on some nutrition as well.
Yeah, that is the part of training where I definitely have a lot to gain. It's probably the soldier in me that just thinks that you can do this. Just go ahead. You just give it your all the time. That has been my thing all over the years. So I'm trying. I'm trying right now to sleep better. It's been my sleep has been trash. It's been
Yeah.
3 hours, 4 hours here, and just go. And that is as for nutrition, I don't really have. People ask me because they think I do all these points really well, but I really don't. I just eat normal food. It's, it's nothing special. Um, I try to get as much protein as I can, of course,
Yeah.
but as far as sleep and rest and all that, I definitely could have done better. But there's I'm just redlining this.
Sleep is a weapon, that's for sure. I'm
Yeah,
kind of I'm kind of connected in that world. Dr. Kirk Parsley, former Navy SEAL, he's a doctor now. That's the stuff he teaches. Out of interest for yourself, Ken, is I say it often when I talk about him. He had one of the Navy SEAL commanders come to him. I think he was 39 years old, and he had the testosterone level of a 67-year-old man, and, and he was on sleep pills and so on. Wasn't very good. He Kirk prescribed him DHEA, which is a testosterone precursor for those people who are listening. It's not a steroid, but he got his sleep right, and within 2 years he quintupled his testosterone level to that of a male in his 20s, and now at 41 and 42 he's PBing his runs and PBing his lifts.
Holy
So
shit.
that was just from sleep, and because sleep has such an effect on hormones, that's why the DHE precursor, which is legal in many countries. But that was just really of interest. And yeah, when we're young and motivated, and clearly someone who can pass a special forces selection course is motivated and self-driven and puts their own needs last, yes, you'll push forward, you'll drive on, you'll complete the mission. But that sleep now is such a priority. We can use that as part of our recovery tools, as part of possibly our training program as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I've been listening a lot to sleep like experts and stuff, and every time I do, I just cringe because I know I do it so bad. And I was like, okay. But the positive thing is, if I start doing it right now, I'm just gonna PR for the next 10 years. I'm sure of it. It's gonna be awesome.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah,
You're ready to fly. I agree
yeah,
completely. Um, can I please go back to the car crash and
yeah,
just talk
sure.
about your rehab? Because we sort of glossed over that. It's almost like the time I asked Eric Miari's kind of like a Jason Bourne, well, literally a Jason Bourne. That was his job. Um, he goes, the first time I got shot, and then he goes on. Oh, hang on. Listeners want to know about the first time you got shot, mate. Yeah, you broke your back in that car crash, and we've gone on to talk about these amazing things you do and PRing and doing such great physical feats. But how did you overcome that injury? How did you go from that car crash and a fractured spine to where you are now?
So what the doctors told me, it's I have a C6 and C7 is fused together, and I got like screws and plates down my spine. And what the doctors told me when it happened was that all my tricking and gymnastic stuff back then and lifting and all those things, I would have to be prepared that I would never do those things again.
Yeah,
Um, but I never felt that. So when they told me that, I was like, this does not sound right for me because I didn't feel that in my body. I felt like this is I'm gonna fix this. There was no doubt in my mind that I would be able to fix it, even though I was pretty banged up. But I didn't spend long. It took me 8 months. I think there's a photo of it far down on my Instagram, but I think it took me 8 months, and I did a 200 kilogram deadlift.
wow.
Yeah. So the way I did that was they wanted to send me to therapy and physiotherapy and all that, but young and stupid as I was like, you are saying I probably won't be able to do these things again, and that is your base for training. I'm just gonna do this on my own. So the moment I got out of the hospital, I went to the gym and I was like helped into the gym, and I was sitting down in like this leg curl machine. I was doing
Yeah,
leg curls with no weights,
yeah.
and that was straight after I was out of the hospital. So I just started training myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Again, I looked at your profile, did some research, and one of those things is you've got Viking on a venture, and the Vikings show as an example is well, an Australian actor and some other actors acting that part. They're not Viking, as it were. They're not from your place, and they haven't been through battle, but you have. So I can now say I've interviewed a Viking. Uh, you're in
Yeah.
the place. You've done the things. The Viking mindset it really must be so different than others. And you just said it there. You've literally gone and rehabbed your own back after, when they're saying be prepared not to be able to do what you do. So I'm trying to form the right question around this. The Viking mindset, how do you see it differs than other cultures?
Well, I'm not sure if there is any Viking culture left here. When people ask me what is different, I've tried to think back from like my entire life. Where does this come from? Where is this drive and this fire? Where does it come from? And it probably does not make sense, but the thing that comes to mind is mountains. I used to sit and watch mountains when I was a kid because there's
Mm,
a lot of them. And for some reason, sitting and watching those mountains did not make me feel small. It made me feel powerful. And every time I try to call on something like that, when I try to find my inner whatever, I just picture mountains. It's
wow.
weird, but that is what I do.
I don't think weird. I was just talking to someone yesterday again about Nick Goldsmith's show about sitting around the fire, and that person was talking about, and actually in our DNA we get become quite transfixed by fire as men. We can literally
Mm,
stare at that fire because that's what we've done as male humans, and probably as maybe both sexes, for millennia, since fire was invented, and your mountains have been around since the world was invented. So I wouldn't think it's weird. It's literally what's all your people have done. um, it makes me think, Ken, when you say that story or relate that feeling, look at what your telemark is it a telemark battalion? I don't know the name of the unit, but look at what they achieve and start with.
what they have done. What do you think
Um,
about that?
yeah, well, look, you guys look at those part of your
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you look at it as right. We're just going to go do that. I might look and go, oh my god, that's so hard.
yeah. No, that is like this. It's just yeah, the nature here is pretty rough, and I think when you grow up in it, it's just this is how it is. You become a part of it, so I guess it gives you some form of strength. I do feel that anyway, because I hear a lot of people talk about it, like they're how is it like the Grand Canyon in America and stuff, and people stand there and they feel small. I've never felt that. It's like if I see this enormous, I stand down in the fjords and I see these enormous peaks, and on top I can see like the snow blowing off the top. I just feel this incredible primal power. It's incredible. So I guess it comes from that. For me, it does at least.
Yeah.
It's a
I
part of
love
it.
that
It's a part of
connection to nature. I just
it. Yeah.
put the show up with one of the New Zealand SAS guys. He's got a term, Mother Nature doesn't lie. And he takes people out in nature for resilience. And he brought that term out because you'll get the wannabe tough guy, and then you put him out on a kayak, and then the winds come up, and it's starting to
Mm.
capsize, and you see his face change. That nature doesn't lie. If you don't get yourself warm, bad stuff's going to happen. If you're hungry, yeah, those sort of things, and it brings out that real inner person in you, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure does. Cold, cold ocean water in the face. I'll make a man out of you.
And I love one of those videos you've got of you and your dog, and then you're doing the straight into the cold water there, and coming out and doing the gymnastics on the deck.
Oh yeah,
Is
yeah, that,
is
yeah.
are you in the cold water all the time? What do you do with that? Is that for fun? Is it for a bit of cold water exposure? Is it for hardness?
It started. It just started because I wanted to do something that made something I didn't. I wanted to be uncomfortable because I have this thing. If I'm too comfortable too long, I become. I wouldn't say depressed, but I'm not happy
Yeah,
if I'm too comfortable over a long period of time. I need something that challenged me, and I think the cool thing was it was just that. I just needed something to challenge me, so it started there. I didn't do like, oh, I'm gonna do breathing exercises or how long I'm going to. I just want to get in there and just feel it and then get out. And that is
Yeah.
where it started. So now I do it. Well, I had this month in December where I did it every day, but that was just to feel what every day of cool exposure would do to my body. Now it's maybe like once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the scientists say 9 to 13 minutes of cold water exposure is what you need a week um, to turn those dials, sort of thing that we were talking about before. What did a month of doing it feel like in your body? Did it change the way your happiness? Did it change inflammation for you?
I'm not sure about inflammation, but I definitely were more content. I felt, I wouldn't say, not exactly happy, but I felt more, I was in a better mood. I would say that. Yeah, definitely better mood throughout that month. And I would definitely do it every day now if I only had like, I need a bucket or something outside my house, which I can make up and go into that. That would make it easy. But where I live, I have to, it's, you have to travel a little bit and then you have to hack through the ice. And it's a process. It takes like an hour or two, that whole
Yeah,
process.
yeah.
And that's 2 hours that a busy life, it's going to be hard to fit it in every day. It worked for a month, but to do it every day now, I couldn't do that, I think.
I
But
just
if I
got
had,
I just got the a little ice bath outside, and it's like a paddling pool for grown-ups. So
yeah,
it's about 4.5 foot high, and it's round, almost like the cowboy baths, and you just sit in it,
yeah,
and it costs like $100. So that's been helpful for me to use as well.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna buy one of those. I have to. So, but I do enjoy, like, I have my dog, so I'm a lot in nature still, but uh, like putting on snowshoes and walking for 30 minutes into the wild, finding a waterfall and then just go in there completely by yourself. There's no one watching. There's just, and swimming under the ice. If you fuck up, you're dead.
Wow.
So that, I've had a few moments like that where I get out of the water and I find my spot where I have my clothes, and then just standing there deep in the woods, just laughing my heart out by myself like a psychopath, because it feels so good, right? Because you're just doing stuff, you're living,
Yeah.
and that is a feeling I try to get as much as I can. And I
I
don't think I don't think I will get that feeling from going into a tub outside my house. It's more of the ritual of going deep into nature, and the thing that you are in kind of danger, and all that, and that just gives me this euphoria afterwards. It's I love it.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And while you're laughing there, euphorically, you're also knowing that you made that happen, not anybody else, not
Mm.
like you say a tub of water out there, but you made that happen with your will and your
Yeah,
body.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's awesome. So yeah, I try to hunt down those feelings as much as I can, and that goes for the death diving or all the extreme sport stuff, the dangerous stuff. It's not. I just need to test myself now and then. I think that is very healthy for you. I mean, at least if I heard someone say that self confidence is, you get that from stacking up evidence from of who you really are. Like if
Mm,
you try to and you do hard stuff and you just pile up stuff, it's been hard and you achieved, that will give you confidence and that will give you happiness. So I try to do that as much as I can. That's where it all comes from, I think.
well, it's funny you say that. I think I was talking to someone about what it's like in special forces. Maybe it was Pup. Our show was a sequel show that just dropped last night, and we were talking about the difference between special forces guys, and apart from I think Norway's got a special forces female, mainly guys, and the regular humans, and the difference was we make life and death decisions and or just a movement. That movement is a life and death decision every single day just in training. He said, Damien, when did you ever use a blank round in training? I went, never. We're hosing live rounds past people's heads. Literally, I'll be putting it just past your ear if I say hold, and we got to pop a shot off. But you're saying stacking up evidence, that confidence, which you're saying self-confidence is confidence in my skills and confidence in my ability, is from stacking up the evidence from gradual training more and more and more. Whereas I can lean out into an elevator and hang onto the cable and slide down and not think I'm going to die. I think I can do this. So it's exactly what you said and he said, is stacking up the evidence from experiences and that you can do those things.
Yeah. And I think there's so many positive things by doing things that is hard, and you build that confidence. Like for me, uh, it makes you. I can enjoy other people's accomplishments more. For example, it makes you
Yeah.
more kind. It makes you everything is better about it. I mean, when you meet guys that are, I wouldn't say assholes, but you feel like they're trying to alpha male you and stuff like that. They're often in life they haven't done anything, because you don't meet people who accomplish things that try to bully you or be an asshole towards you. It's weird.
No, we call them wannabes. I don't mind a has been. I'm
Yeah.
a has been. I've been there and done it, but they've been there and done it. But the wannabes they're a different thing. They're a little dog barking a lot of the time, sometimes in a big man's body.
Yeah. I think that's just for everybody. You should try to do stuff that scares you. It'll help you in many places.
It's been amazing hearing about you and learning, Ken. It's been great to get to know you. Um, and again, in the show notes at the start, I put where to find you in that. But at this stage, where do people find out more about you? Where do they go to see more of you?
So Instagram is probably the place I post the most. I do a lot of stories there and stuff from my daily life, and I'm gonna try, or I'm going to use YouTube more. I haven't posted a video on YouTube for probably 10 years, but I'm going to start more this year. So my YouTube is going to be up and running this year. But for now, it's mostly Instagram. I have a TikTok, but they take down all my videos. They don't want them.
uh,
So
it's a strange place, that TikTok, but your stuff on Instagram is absolutely brilliant. I would suggest it would blow up on YouTube. And is there, apart from doing this, no, that's making it too small. I love what you're doing, and you're doing all these things for yourself. Is there something past that? Is there something you're looking at, or is this always for yourself and then just inspiring others with what you do?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean. You
Thank
think?
you. Thank you. That's the issue you get when you get an operator and a fireman doing a podcast. um, I'm what you do your content for yourself. That's awesome and inspiring other people. But is there a greater thing? Like, are you looking to get a job doing that, break into other things,
Oh
act?
yeah, okay. So I understand. Definitely, if I could find a way to quit my day job and just live off doing the things I have a vision of doing, then I would definitely do that. I'm trying to figure out how I would do it. One of those things is I would probably do that no matter what. But when I want to buy myself a little land, a little farmland, a place where I can live that's a little away from people, and just have people from around the world come and live with me for a week or for two and do whatever, and we can go into the woods bare feet and run and jump, and we can grapple, and we can sit around the fire, and we can talk, and we can share, and we can do all those cool things. And that is something I really want to do, um, and hopefully we'll get to do one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Build a sort of community, I guess.
Absolutely. That's literally not just finding a tribe, that's creating a tribe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's so many awesome people out there. So why not just get them together? Let's meet. Let's have fun.
Awesome. I'm going to connect you with some people. Michael Mason is one in the UK. His show's coming out soon. Nick Goldsmith, that I've spoken about a few times here. All these people do those same things outdoors. So I think bringing all you guys together in that genre will be very clever, just to collaborate. And collaboration is currency, they say. So that's going to pay things forward.
Yeah, that is that is the thing about all this. You have to that uh, that thing where people think that you shouldn't include other people because it will keep you down. It's so weird. It doesn't work like that. I
No,
mean, if you do my show, I do your show, we build each other up, and that is how it works. So include everybody, man. If
absolutely.
they're yeah,
Yeah, build each other up. Look, Ken,
yeah.
it's been amazing hearing all about you. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for staying up on the other side of the world to get on this show. I really appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you and sharing your story.
My pleasure. I love it. Thank you, man.
Nice
All
one,
right.
Ken. Don't go away. I'll hit pause and we'll have a chat.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks for watching. I'm Damien Porter, former Special Forces operator, and check out my new project for 2023 at hownottodie.com.au, where I've combined all my Special Forces training and police officer experience to help others. Thanks for watching.